Okay, today I'm going to talk about the browser and all about what we can do with the browser. So, in this case, what you see on your screen right now is the Mozilla or Firefox browser, and in this case, I'm using a Windows computer, and I know Internet Explorer is like the default browser that you get on your Windows computer, or if you're a Mac user, you would have the Safari as a default browser. But in this case, there is a good open source browser that the school really wants you to use, especially for their Angel online learning environment, and that's called Firefox. And you can get the Firefox by going to the Mozilla.org website, and I'm sure there's lots of links right there. It's called Mozilla.org. And the Mozilla browser is developed by the people that made the first browser, which was Netscape, and so this is the same group of people that started basically the web browser. So what is this web browser application? Well, in this case, again, the most popular are, and let's just look here. We got a little chart here on my my Wikipedia here. The main browsers that we'll be working with and throughout these classes will be of course, you have the Chrome browser, which is the one that's made by Google. The IE, or Internet Explorer, which is made by Microsoft. Of course, the one we were just talking about was the Mozilla, which is made by Firefox, which is made by Mozilla. And then, of course, we have the Safari browser made by Apple. And then, of course, there's a variety of other smaller ones. Of course, there's the Opera. I don't know why they have an Android as a separate browser than the Chrome. I thought they were both the same. And then others. And as we go through, you probably should have at least the Chrome, IE, and Firefox on your computer if you're a Windows user, and then the Safari, Firefox, and Chrome on if you're a Mac user. Now you can, I believe, put IE on a Mac, but I don't know. What's more important is that you're able to test what you're building on your computer in the different types of browsers, because some of them use certain different technologies, and most of them are compliant with the latest HTML5 and things like that. But let's just get into browsers, and we'll talk a little bit about more how they work. But these are the browsers, and what is a browser? It's basically a software application that is used to interpret the code and render a page. So what does that mean? That means that what this page that you're looking at right now is a collection of a variety of different files. Most of those files are JavaScript or HTML or graphics. Like this logo right here is a graphic file, probably made in Illustrator or Photoshop or something like that, and then displayed on the page. And I use the word render. What render means is that the browser, this software program, interprets all the code and all the graphics and then displays the screen the way that the designer has laid it out. So our job as designers and web page developers is that we are trying to design a page that displays properly and looks the way that we want it to look. And in this case, the Firefox browser is probably the best one to use, again, because the school wants us to use it because it's the browser that works best with their online learning environment. But one of the nice things about this Firefox is that it's an open source, and what the open source means is that there's a variety of developers out there that can add to it. And so there's different software programs, and we'll learn a lot of these different software programs as we go along about how to add to Mozilla and things like that. One of them, and I think I have it bookmarked already here, the online environment for, oh no, that's the community map. Bookmarks, let me see here, we have, oh, that's the web page we're already on. What I'm really looking for is the add-ons. So if I go to Google for just a moment here, I think it's addon.mozilla.com, and I'm looking for the Mozilla add-ons. Okay, so again, if you can't find anything, the best thing is just to go to Google and type in what you want. In this case, I'm looking for add-ons. So what add-ons are extra options that you can add to the Mozilla browser. And so that's sort of how I work all the time, is I just go to Google and I can't remember where the add-ons are, and type in Google Mozilla Add-Ons, and here we go. So on this website is the add-ons for the Mozilla browser. There's a variety of different applications you can add to them. I think I linked on the website, on the class websites, this thing called personas here, and this is a way that you can just change the look of the browser so it looks kind of cool according to the way that you want it to look. And so they're kind of add-ons, and if you just look at a couple of them there, if you click on these and add them, your browser will actually take on this kind of characteristics of this. And so that's what a persona is. You might want to try that. You can see the bar at the top was already changed. Did you see that? Here, let's look at the fashion one. See, as I rolled over, how it changes up there. Okay, so that's the persona. Okay, again, the extensions is what we're more looking at least at this point in my discussion here, and that's sort of how to add on to your browser. Okay, and so there's a variety, as you can see here, these things called featured extensions. Okay, and let's go to the most popular ones for now. Of course, nobody likes ads, so there's an ad blocker. The downfall, though, is that this will screw up kind of the West Valley online learning, or the Mission College online learning environment. So if you please, I know having ad blocker is great. You can turn it on and off, but if you download the ad blocker and put it onto your browser, it may mess up your online learning environment. Another one that is very useful that we'll look at in this class is called Firebug. This is a great way for you learning some code, HTML and CSS and JavaScript, to help you learn that, and we'll learn about that in this class. I haven't done most of these. For you, there's easy download. You can download videos from YouTube. You might want to be interested in that, so you can save your YouTube videos as you go along. The one I use a lot here is this one called Fireftp. It's a great way to send files over the internet. So as you build websites and you want to put them onto a web server, and we'll learn about what a web server is and what a web browser, or we'll learn about browser now, but what a web server is, and how to send our files from our computer to a web server. We can use this Fireftp, and there's going to be a couple other FTP programs that I talk about. In addition, there's a whole bunch. I could go through all of these, but we'll end up running out of time. So you should go through and look at some of these, maybe try a couple of them. That StumbleUpon is very popular. Some of them don't work on all of them. This one doesn't work in this version of the Firefox browser I'm using. So the other thing to keep in mind is, which version of the browser are you using. Well, this one's a Flash downloader. That's pretty good. So there's a variety of different ones. The main one that I want you to have right now as you're working in the first week of school or so is the one that's called Screen Grab. What is Screen Grab? Well, Screen Grab is a program that allows you to save a website as a picture. And so as you are going through and learning how to do web design and things like that, it would be great if you could learn how to just take a picture of the screen. Now, there is a print screen on a Windows computer. There's a print screen key on the keyboard, and that'll actually save it in memory and then go into Photoshop or something and save it. But that's a lot of work. On a Mac, it's an easy way to take a screen capture is to use the Command Shift 3, and it takes a picture of the whole screen. But what if I wanted to take, and that just takes a picture of the entire screen, but what if I wanted to take a picture of the entire page and save it as a PNG? And we'll learn about the different graphic formats, but the PNG is the one that we're going to use primarily in all our classes, and that's just a graphic format. It's like a JPEG or something like that your picture of your camera uses. But in this case, I'm going to use the Screen Grab, and once you install it, and it's very easy to install, and though it's not available for this version of 14.0, I don't know, maybe there's another version that you could use. I don't know. I have it on my computer right now. It's called a Screen Grab, and if I right click, it gives me this sort of Screen Grab right here. If you look at it, and oops, it's getting a little low here. If I right click, you'll see it says Screen Grab right here, and you can save the complete page, okay, or the visible portion, or a selection where you draw a box, or you can copy it into memory. So mostly what we'll want to do is probably save the entire page so that you can send the teacher examples, because throughout this class I'm going to want you to like show me samples of web pages that you're looking at and analyzing them. And so you're going to need some kind of program to take a picture of the website so that you can analyze it. The easiest way again is this program called the screen grab. And so if I right click and go down here and say save as, I say complete page frame, and if I click on that, it's going to ask me where you want to save it. I got a folder on my desktop that can save it, and you can give it a name. This is the screen grab sample, whatever you want to save it, and then if you hit save. So what does that do? Okay, well, it takes an entire picture of everything on here. So if we go to the desktop here and we look at our samples here, you'll see it saves this as a PNG. Oh, I forgot the extension here. Just put it on there, and there it is, PNG. And so if I right click and open it, and I don't want to open it in that program, let me see, how about picture viewer here. If I right click, and you'll see right here as I open it in the plain Windows picture viewer here, if I zoom in on it, you'll see it basically took a picture of the entire page. And it's a great way that you can take a picture of a web page and send it to somebody. Now it's not taking the code, it's just taking a picture. So that's a great way, and get yourself to learn how to use that that program and try it. Let's get back to the browser discussion. Once you've done that, the other thing is, and let's start looking at some web pages and learning about other ways of looking at them. I have we're going to look at a variety of web pages today, and I'll get to all of them. But let's look at a little bit of an advanced one. Which one is do I want to look at here? There was that one. How about the Mission College one, or let's look at the Synergy one. Okay, this is a ad agency. Okay, and so as you can see, one of the problems that you run into with certain websites is, of course, it doesn't fit entirely in my screen here. Whoever designed it a little bit larger than this plain 1024 by 768 screen, and that's sort of the screen size that I use to teach you in. And most of you probably have a lot larger computer screen than I do, but I use a kind of a smaller screen here so that you can see what I'm working on here. So when I first came to this website, I wanted to kind of analyze it, and one of the problems is that I see this sort of video going here. There is some rollover effects that you see here, and what a rollover effect is where we roll our cursor over and it kind of glows or changes. We're going to use the word feedback. It gives us feedback of, oh, I can do something with that. But what I'm more important about is I'm talking about the browser and sort of how can I save this. Now we could sort of take that screen capture if you want by going under File, Screen Grab, and hit the Save Page, okay, and it's going to save the entire page again. But the downfall of that is that it's basically taking a picture, and it's not really saving the code. And so what is the code? The code is sort of the HTML that's in the background. Remember when we first started talking a couple minutes ago, we talked about rendering and how the browser renders a web page. Well, in this case, there is code behind there, and since I'm using the Firefox browser, if I go under Tools, Web Developer, which will be using a lot of this Web Developer thing in here, but one of the ones underneath the Web Developer will be the page source. If you go under Tools, Web Developer, Page Source, it'll show you all the code that is in there. Okay, and you can see there's a doc type here, and this tells us, you know, what version of HTML, and this is going to be HTML5, just because you can tell by the doc type here, and we'll learn about that as we go along. But as you can see, it has a whole bunch of different programming. There's a variety of links to Fabcon. We'll learn how to use all that, and there's some links to CSS and things like that. And so what if you wanted to save all of this? Okay, save this. Now we could open up the code that you see right here and then go under File, Save As, or Print, Save Page As, and it'll save the HTML for us. Save. Okay, but that's just saved the HTML. As you can see, if I just save the HTML right now, and if you look at this one, not the one below, but this one right here, it's only 18.6 kilobytes. Basically what it did, okay, was it saved the code that you see here. It didn't save all the different links. And so when I was originally talking about web browser, I said, oh, the web pages are made by a variety of different things. And one of the things I said, like the logo is a graphic. And as you can see here, here's a link to a graphic right here. There's a link to a graphic. So if you just go under the file, save as in this code view, it's just saving the code, but not the graphics and all that stuff. And especially I wanted to know how they, what technology was this under here. You see kind of, it looks like a animation of some kind and things like that. And I first thought it was Flash, and how you can tell if it's Flash or not is if you could right click on it. So if I right click and it says Flash, and we'll learn about that in the next video. If I right click and it says Flash right here, then oh, it's Flash. But this is not Flash. And so I'm assuming it's a video. But another way to save a website is if you're using the Firefox browser again, and if you go under, instead of going into the code view, if you go underneath the file, save page as, what it's going to do is it's going to say web page complete, web page complete. And if I hit save here, and I already did this once already to test it before I started talking to you, if I go under file save as, it's going to save the whole entire page of the HTML and all the graphics, so then I can analyze what they've done. And you say to yourself, well, how do I know? Well, if I go and I look in the folder here, and let's close all this stuff up here, and let's go look in the folder here, you'll see it saves the web page. Okay, and if I open up, it also saves a folder, as you can see right here, and in that folder it puts all the different graphics that were linked, and even the JavaScript. There's some JavaScripts that are linked, there's some cookies, and there's a whole bunch of JavaScript in this one. As you can see, that's what the .js is, and we'll learn all about all these different technologies as we go along. And you'll see there was some Flash there, but I don't think that they were using Flash. They were actually using a video, and you can see the video right here. And how do I know if it's a video? Well, if I right click on one of the video files and say open with, let's just say QuickTime in this case, you'll see that there's the animation that we saw. Okay, so another great way to learn about websites and how they work and things like that is to save them and analyze them and find out what other people are doing. So again, a couple things I want you to practice. Again, download that screen grab program. Once you download it and put it in Firefox, it'll be on your right click. If you don't have a right click on your Mac, you can always hold the control key down and click on the mouse, and it'll give you a right click on a Mac. But on Windows here, you just right click, you can save the screen grab. Another way that I want you to save websites is to go under the file, save page as, and it'll save a whole archive of that. So practice